Hey, Tribe Builders, Tanya Rooney here, and I'm super excited to have my guest today. This lady is the bee's knees in ways that I just can't even tell you. I'm gonna try though. So I met this gal, and seriously, the whole way that we met was I knew she was friends with one of my friends, so I walked up to her and told her how much I loved that friend, and then she told me how much she loved that friend, and then we bonded over loving this friend, which feels like the best way to like kind of make a new friend. And ever since, like now we do the same kind of hype stuff for each other. We get to see each other every now and again at short-term rental things. And yeah, she's super freaking awesome. I'm really excited for you guys to meet her. So without further ado, Kim Fitzpatrick, hi.
Hi, I wore my brightest, funnest earrings for you today.
Yes, I think that's really awesome for anybody. I mean, they should just go out and watch the video anyways because it's better
Yeah.
that way. And they can always see all the boxes because Kim is synonymous with boxes. Kim, can you tell people why I would say something like that? Like, what do you do?
Well, my business name is Launched Host, and I have to say it slowly, or it sounds like lunch toast. And I don't eat a lot of toast for lunch, but anyway, so it's there's a key. Like maybe say your business name out loud a bunch of times before you choose it. But
Yes.
anywho, I help Airbnb short-term rental hosts launch their properties physically by going into the property, setting up all the furniture, bringing my team, getting all the TVs and the curtains hung and all the art and all the rugs and all the everything. And we have a great time. And I travel the country doing this for hosts one after another. And yes, so I carry a lot of boxes around.
Seriously, you guys, this morning she's like, I'm just trying to like break down boxes and open boxes in this really hot heat.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop sweating so I can come on your podcast. Not,
I love that. Okay, so you have a so really you have a short-term rental services business. Is that,
that's correct.
pretty much the
Yeah,
box that
we
fits it?
support owners.
And how did this happen? Like quick and dirty, like how did it happen?
Accidentally at first and then super intentional. And the accidental part was I am a divorced mother of two kids and I was a teacher forever. And when I went to set up my own property that wasn't close to where I live, I had 1 week of either spring break or during Christmas break or when my kids were with their dad. And so I had to rush across the country, set up my place in 1 week, and then come home. And that became the model that we still use today is the 1 week install. And it's a wild game that we play, but we really like it. We're just really competitive with ourselves to do as good as we possibly can and work as many hours as we can. And sometimes condensing it into a short timeline is better. You're just dragging it out if you take longer.
Except for when you maybe do 50 installs a year, then it's a lot. It's really a
Yeah,
lot.
it wears on you, but it's also still really fun and satisfying too.
Oh, it's awesome. So you're saying tell me about like what does your team look like? And then once you get boots on the ground, because you just said you do this all over the country, and I happen to personally know that you have been like that right now you're in the Northeast. I think you're in Maine, and you were just in Austin or somewhere in Texas, and then you were also in Ohio and maybe Florida in there. So tell me like what we looks like because I don't know that you can do this yourself.
Oh no, I cannot. I think people think I'm Superwoman, and I'm like, no, 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 no. There's a whole team behind me that is orchestrating all of this stuff. I am the people person, and oh, speaking of my team, she's calling right now. Um, she probably needs something for the shopping list. But anyway, yeah, so I have Jody in the background. She is the spreadsheet queen and she's super analytical and she's like really dives deep to make sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted, and then everything goes off. And then I have Sarah who manages the teams and creates the teams based on all their talents and skills and puts together a team that has all the skills needed to set up a house. And I usually come first and get things started, and the team comes around me. So there's actually 23 of us across the country. We all live in different regions, and we come together to make this work.
I think that's really awesome. But What does it look like for boots on the ground? Because you're talking about people that, I mean, I understand business enough that we can have, I have somebody that works on the East Coast for me. She can easily work on my Minnesota stuff, and she's never even been to Minnesota. So there are people on your team that maybe never step foot in a house, but what you're saying is like heavy stuff inside a property, like a lot of hours. How do you guys find the people that come? Because you do it all over the place. That means you're essentially starting with a brand new team almost every install, unless you're like, if you have 5 installs in an area, it's different. But
Yeah, there's people in like the 23 of us, we rotate around, and some of us have never met each other, but we very much know each other. At least we feel like we know each other because I talk about everybody all the time. Like, oh, he's so great. I wish he was here. He would really know the lighting on this one. Or she's really funny and she always entertains us. And she's really good at making beds. I wish she was on this one. Those kinds of things I say about my teams. Yeah, so not everybody has met each other in person, but we travel to the location. So often if it's in the Northeast, I'll reach out to the people I know that are closer in the Northeast. If it's down in Arizona, I try to reach towards my Southwest people and start there. But occasionally we go clear across the country to do installs.
And how do you find the people like, so is everybody flying in for one install every single time? Or do you
No.
use like people boots on the ground? And how does that work?
So let's see. We have, based on the bedroom count of the house, is how many people I bring. I like everybody to have their own bedroom whenever possible. But we have a few family people, like married couples, like mom, daughter. And occasionally they will share a room when we need a bigger team on a property. But yeah, no, it's based on bedroom count, how many people show up to the property. And then how I find them is fascinating. It's honestly through social media and posting, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. And then occasionally I'm like, we need more people. Like we need to recruit more people because nobody works full time for me. It's all based on the week of install. And sometimes people aren't available. They have their own lives outside of setting up houses, believe it or not. And they have events that they can't get away from. And so that's why we just go down the list. That's why we have so many. But yeah, and then occasionally I reach out on social media and I say, hey, who wants to come join our team? And there are times of the year, of course, we're busier than other times. So getting into the fall and winter, especially, I just heard yesterday, bonus depreciation 100% is back, or at least very likely back. And that will mean that we will get incredibly busy very soon. So
At the end of the year, because people are going to try, like for people that don't know about what a bonus depreciation is and why she even made that comment is in the world of real estate, bonus depreciation means that if you put a house in service, so at least in short-term rental land, it means if you put a house in service by the end of the year, so you just need to list it pretty much on Airbnb for like 3 days or 2 days or something like that in the year of 2025, you can use bonus depreciation on your taxes for 2025 then. And what that just means is it can knock out a lot of your income. Like somebody that makes, yes, like thousands and thousands of dollars. Somebody that makes a couple $100,000 a year, that is something like you can knock out a lot of your tax burden by doing this. And this is the reason so many real estate people are so excited about bonus depreciation in general. But what this equals for Kim is that means she's going to get phone calls, and she's actually going to get phone calls on December 20th. I know darn well she's going to, asking, hey, we need to get this thing in service. Like, how fast can you come? And she's going to be like, hey, I'm already booked up because I've been booked up for 2 months because people are already thinking about this. But that's why she would make a comment like that, is because at the end of the year, all of a sudden people are like, oh, I can still do this thing because my tax professional said that I could. So yeah, that just means like it has to be a rentable space in the year of 2025.
yep, it has to have rented for I think it's either 2 stays or 2 days. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I go back and forth. I remember in the fall when everybody's frantic and panicking. But yeah, so we always need a lot more people during the holidays. It's also, people are limited in the holidays on when they're available, because I have worked through Thanksgiving, through Christmas. My birthday is Christmas Eve for 3 years straight now. I have worked through all all of those holidays, and because I really do care about our owners and I really do want to get them in service. And, it's a small price to pay knowing I can save somebody tens of thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
so yeah, we
No,
do it.
absolutely. So I mean, seriously, like, I thought of you like a long time ago for this podcast, and I know we've done some back and forth about you coming on the podcast. So I'm really excited you got the time to do it because, like you just said, like the quintessential tribe builder over here. You just said like. You literally reach out on social media, like you find people and it's all word of mouth, and it's like, and sometimes it's truly essentially signing up for 12-hour work days just to come hang out with you. And can you talk a little bit about that, about like what does it look like? Does somebody, if like, there's so many people that want to set up short-term rentals because they think it's fun, and it is fun, but it's a version of fun and it's not for everybody. So can you talk about how you get people to do this?
That's so funny you say that. It is a version of fun. The way running a marathon is a version of fun.
Maybe we need to go with one of the 100-milers.
I know.
That's a version of fun.
Well, I have run 2 marathons, so I can assure you that
They suck too.
while it's like maybe more intense on that day, this one extends 7 straight days. So yeah, I've not done a 100-miler. I don't plan to. But yeah, it is intense. And so how do I get people to do that? I don't know. I'm a good time. Let's get real. I enjoy what I do. I like it. I like to build people up. And then my background was that I was a PE teacher for 17 years before doing this full time. And I have ways of convincing people that we're going to have a great time doing things that they really didn't want to do. I mean, how many years and years and years did I have to convince kids they were not going to die to run the 1 mile run? Uh,
You just brought back so many disgusting memories, Kim. Oh no.
oh
My
yeah.
poor PE teacher. I'm just like, you want me to do what? Like, no, I'll walk around this track 4 times. There's no way I'm running.
Yeah, I know you. And
I
I,
like walking.
if you were my student, I would probably like get next side by side like we are now and be like, hey, come on, you want to just run a little bit? I'll run with you. I promise. It'll be a good time. We'll do it. We can do this together. I got you. Let's just run a little bit. Come on, Tanya. Don't lag behind. You can keep up with me. And I will nag you until you'll be like, fine, I'll just do it. And then we'll have a great time. I'm like, look how good you're doing. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Um,
Oh my God, this is how you trick people into hanging out with you for a week.
hey, okay. So like, it is hard work. Let me back up a little.
It is.
It is hard work,
I know.
but the satisfaction of like feeling good that you worked hard and you accomplished something amazing. Come on, Tanya, stop laughing.
I can't stop laughing because I know, because I've done it. I've had to do this too. I'm just like, hey, do you want to go and like hang out with a with an Allen wrench for 12 hours a day? Because that's essentially what you're doing. Because everybody's like, you have to put together everything that you order,
Yeah.
and there's just so much Allen wrenching turning.
There is so much. Yeah. And on this job, I'm going to have to convince somebody to help me haul the sleeper sofa upstairs. And if you've ever hauled a sleeper sofa, it's like 10 times heavier than a regular sofa. And it's pre-built, so it doesn't come in little chunks. And I've got to get it up this set of stairs and around a corner into a room. So that'll be a real treat. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh! So
Uh,
you seriously, you just surf your network to fill spaces.
Yeah, and people love it. But here's the other thing. Like if I'm being honest, yes, it's hard work, but sometimes it's boring work, and you're just sitting there twisting the Allen wrench and you're just doing a very tedious job of assembling furniture. And during those times, that's when we all get together and we mastermind, and we're just talking. Like almost everybody that works for me owns short-term rentals, has an ancillary business that is related, like they are co-hosts or property managers, or maybe they're revenue managers, something like that. But we're all like in this industry. everybody. And so somebody will have a problem with a cleaner and go, oh my gosh, my cleaner didn't show up. And then the whole tribe in the house is like, well, I've done this or I've done that, or why don't you try this? Or I can call somebody and we can help you. And we all like really dive in and help this person with whatever issue is going on. And then it becomes this like advice session all week long where it's like, well, how do you do that? Okay, so talk to me more about revenue management. How do you set your seasonal pricing? And it's really cool. So there is a value that people get beyond going, I turned this room into a room of boxes, like from a room of boxes into a beautiful design space. They also, it's like we take away so many good things for our businesses that we learn from each other.
Yeah, it's like a built-in mastermind.
It
I mean,
really
like
is.
truly, like that's the kind of stuff that I do. Like I love going to masterminds and meetups and retreats because of things like this. Is like I want to talk about, oh man, this cleaner just called. She like broke her finger. I have to figure this out. Like, what do you guys typically do? And this is the reason, like, well, we have it set up like this because that could happen. Like people that are in short-term rentals that rely on one cleaner, I can't wrap my head around it. I'm like, what happens if that person like gets hit by a bus? And I know that's like that's a morbid sentence, but it's not. It's like a reality sentence. Like the bus plan is a true thing that if you're a business owner, you need to know about your bus plan, and that means your bus plan for you, your bus plan for the person that maybe does your scheduling, the bus plan for for everybody, because everything rolls up at some point. So if you only have one person to do one thing.
The bus plan, it's really true. I mean, the amount of different scenarios that can take one person out of the equation. I mean, I know a cleaner for somebody that they were trying to call and call and call their cleaner who was very good at responding all of the time until this moment. They were put in jail. They couldn't call. I don't know what happened. They were like, I didn't know they had I don't remember the situation, but yeah, the cleaner got taken to jail. They couldn't call. And they were like, I don't know what to do. Are they going to show up? They're not responding. Maybe they're there. Maybe, so yeah,
We've had a rehab one. Like someone called me in tears. They're like, hey, I'm going to rehab. I've been having some problems. I relapsed. And we had to fill 9 cleans. That was over like a month and a half, but it doesn't matter. We had to fill 9 cleans. And thankfully, we always have 2 to 4 cleaners at any given moment. I'm very clear and open with my cleaners in the beginning. Hey, you don't get to pick up all the cleans. Like, we don't do that. Like, if something happens, I have had another one that needed to get their appendix taken out. It's like, no, she can't work today because she really does have an emergency. And I know sometimes these are just like wild excuses. Some cleaners really do make up excuses. Like if their grandma dies 4 times, well, they probably don't have a grandma that's dying. But the reality of somebody's house starting on fire, like stuff like this really does happen. So having your backups in your business is just, it just makes
or
good
even
sense.
happened to me a couple weeks ago, maybe a month now, where my cleaner just all of a sudden decided to up her rate. I have a large property from $325 to $500 effective immediately, and I'm like, oh no, we don't. That's not how we roll around here.
We can discuss it, but no, that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, that was a really big jump, and if your cleaner decides just to up and change prices because they got a wild hair, you have to have a backup plan, and that's like a non-emergency thing, but a thing that is real and is happening to another friend of mine in another location right now. So yeah, you have to have redundancies. You just do.
Yeah. Like, we have cleaners just fall off. It's so interesting because we typically have enough cleaners. Again, we've got 4 properties right now, and we do have like probably 4 to 6 cleaners on our list that kind of are in a rotation. And one of them is on summer break right now. She works in the school system, so she's cleaning a lot more right now. And then in the winter system, when the winter time, she only picks up 1 clean a month. But another person, she kind of just like fell off our list. I'm like, hey, does she really like clean for us anymore? She's like, she hasn't been answering. So no, I found her on Facebook and she got a full-time job. And completely fine. Like that kind of stuff is like, it's fine. Everybody kind of has their ebbs and flows, but knowing that kind of stuff does happen and you have to pivot, like you don't have a choice, Like, with you, it's like if you have an 8-bedroom house you're setting up and you need 8 people, well, and you can only find 4 people. Like, what do you do? Like, I have a buddy, I talk about this all the time. You call 100 banks. He's always talking about, well, how many banks have you talked to? I can never get a loan. Well, how many banks have you talked to? Well, I've only talked to 1 or 2. And it's like, okay, well, there's thousands of banks out there, so you should call 100 banks. And in your situation, it's like, well, I've got 8 bedrooms and I need more than 4 people because I still have to get this done in a week. So I'm going to call and call, like, I mean, you use social media, but it's the same example of like, I'm going to call 100 banks.
Yeah, it really is true. I use social media, but then this is the 5th house we have set up in this area, and we actually have
Nice.
2 projects going on at the exact same time. One is in Arizona. Well, it was a lot easier for most of my team to get to Arizona, so I split the team that was intended for here half and half, and then I knew that because I am resourceful and can drum up people, that I would take the burden of finding people in this local area. And I have, but I also knew that we have done 4 houses before. So I'm calling all of our previous clients saying, hey, who's your handyman? Who's your housekeeper? Who is anyone that can spare even 4 hours helping us out? We'll take them. And it's a holiday weekend once again. So it's not easy. You do legitimately have to call 100 whoever's, to get
Yeah.
somebody to answer the phone.
Yeah, and sometimes I mean that's like a saying, but I mean going onto Instagram and sending messages, like asking for referrals, like all that kind of stuff. It's like you just be resourceful, and it's so interesting to meet lots of business owners, and mostly business owners are resourceful, but regular people, muggles we will call them, aren't necessarily. They don't know necessarily how to pivot. They don't know how to creatively think about things. Like I could go into that situation and I'd do the same thing. My husband would go, my husband is so awesome. Like he's so good at so many things. If I told him he had to go find 10 people to come help me do something, he would definitely call 2 or 3 people, but he would be like, okay, I called everybody I know. So there's a certain personality that can do stuff like this, and that's why your personality lends such a good hand to this, because you're resourceful. You're just like, oh yeah, like having a no quit attitude is kind of a big deal. And being the PE teacher slash psychopath that you were, because of the just I'm calling you that because of the nagging, because I totally could see you doing that. Let's jog a little, Tanya.
Come on.
100% know that teacher. Oh man, never taking this class again.
There are people
Yeah,
that do
you
not
wouldn't.
resonate.
It's true. But like being the kind of person, like you just keep going. Like that there isn't another version of it. And I think that's one of the reasons that I relate to you, and I, like you so darn much, is like, well, you just like do the thing, like you do what you got to do, and there isn't a question.
Yeah, it's not like, yeah, it's funny I think that's what I've learned about elite athletes too, which I am not calling myself one, but there are similarities between elite athletes and business owners, and it's not that elite athletes are better than anyone else, it's just that they don't know when to stop. Like they just don't have an off switch, and so they just keep trying, they just keep working, they just keep going when other people are like, I think I'm good. This is where I
I totally, you're totally right. It's like, well, are you gonna finish this? Are you gonna quit? Like, I don't know. I'm good with clients at deadlines because I'm like, sweet, I know what I have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so awesome. So tell me about how how did you do this? So like you obviously, put Launch Host you made it into a business. How did you build this community that even shows up for something like that? Like maybe if I don't know if it's your social media community more, or if it's a lot of referral stuff, going to events. Like tell me like how what did that even look like?
I think it's a combination. I don't think there's like one so I quote Alex Hormozy a lot. I just think he's brilliant, and so I'm gonna do that here too. So bear with me. But it's not one silver bullet. It's like 100 golden BBs. And I think that's really true. Like, it's not one event that I went to, it's not one group I joined. It's the fact that I've gone in person to a lot of things, and I post on social media a lot of things. Like, I post the ta-da, look at how amazing this is, and also the oh my Lord, this is falling apart, and everything in between. I post about like who I am as a person, and things I just love and want to share, but also business things. And so people get to see and feel like they know me. And it's funny, I'll walk into a room and occasionally I'll catch eyes with somebody and they're like, and I can tell that like, that's who I've seen that. I've seen everything. And I mean, I've encountered people that say, I watched every episode on your Facebook. And I'm like, episode. Okay. It's like I'm a daytime drama. Um, but it does give people a feeling of connection. And something just popped up on, nope, now it's gone. Anyway, it gives people a feeling of connection with me and what we do, and they really get to see. I mean, I spend a lot of my life putting my camera up and being like, hey, here's what we're doing, and this is how this is going. And I just share my life, and people are like, that seems kind of fun. I'm kind of scared, but I want to try it. I'm like, come try it. It's great. So
Everybody wants to try it. You know, Kim, every time I talk to you, I'm just like, man, I should find out if she's gonna do something in Minnesota. And then I think I'm like, man, I bet I could get Matt to do. Matt's my husband. I'm sure I could get Matt to do this. And then I'm like, God, I think he would hate me afterwards.
well,
But it's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
I
I
will
know it.
say I do have to be realistic. Not everybody loves what we do, even after they've done it. I mean, they might love parts of it, or they've gotten a value from it, but they don't want to do it again. Kind of like running a marathon. Most people do it once and go, okay, check that box.
It's checked off. Checked
Um,
off. Yep.
but and I have two children that I started this when I think they were like 7, 8, 9, and now they're 19 and 20. And I always, every time we get something that's close to like where they are, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna invite my kid and we're gonna have the best time. And then I tell him, and he's like, not a
No,
chance
mom.
in hell, mom.
No, mom. No. No means no.
Yeah, they're not into it, and that's okay. They're living their own lives, doing their own things. But a mom can dream, right?
Pumpkin dream for sure. Oh my god. Okay, so your business has started to evolve because I've been watching it, which I love. Tell me about the evolution because now you're trying. Like, I know you have goals for what Launch Host looks like and potentially like franchising it and things like that. But I feel like it's starting to evolve into okay, do you want to figure out how to do this? Can you talk about that? Like talk about your group that you started and stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's got a lot of fingers out now. We started with our 7-day install, and we realized that owners had a pain point of like, well, how do I prepare for the install? So we're like, well, we can help you prepare, which stretches the timeline a little bit, but we keep it as condensed as possible to get them launched very quickly, but also not sacrificing quality. So we've extended that way. And we also require that they have design plans. Well, some owners want to be their own designers and don't know how to do that. So we've assisted them in sharing what we need so that we have the tools to assemble the entire house. And now we've taken on design ourselves, which is very exciting. We still work with all our favorite designers out in the world, all the big names, but we also do design in-house now as well. Because a lot of people want an end-to-end process. They just want to hand it over, know that it's taken care of. They don't have to talk to all these different agencies. They can just talk to one person as the point and then have it be finished. So we're doing that. Additionally, we realize that there's a lot of people that will never be our clients because they kind of want to do it themselves and they want to be a part and they want to say like, look what I did. Kim gets to say it. I want to say it too. And I love that. And I want to empower people to be able to solve their own problems and do their own things. And it is really hard. And there's a million little things that you have to really know what's going on so that you don't get overwhelmed and want to divorce your spouse by the time you're done. Like, we don't want
Yeah.
that. So I have set up the launch blueprint, which is essentially a course, but it's also guided. I have weekly meetings where I meet with everyone in the course that wants to pop on and say, I'm struggling with this now or now or now, and I walk them through all of their struggles, and we resolve their issues. And again, it's like that little weekly mastermind for people that have bought into the launched blueprint and are planning to do it themselves, but want a little bit of extra help. Yeah, so in the launched blueprint program, they learn every step that we have outlined. We give them basically our SOPs and our operating procedures and how we go about it, how we plan everything. But then they also get to join me once a week for all the Q&As, because they're like, okay, but I'm still struggling. And I'm like, okay, how do we, like, what's the next layer that we can just kind of uncover and master for you so that you can get onto the next step and onto the next step. And we dive deep into Q&As every Thursday.
I think that's so awesome. And what a great idea, because like I don't and actually this just made me think of, so you're not necessarily looking for someone to potentially join your group for 5 years. You're getting seasons of people, because you're in a season when you're setting up your first short-term rental, and maybe when you're setting up your second short-term rental you're going to join back in or whatever. But what is that, what are you expecting out of somebody that joins your group in that way?
Yeah, so what they join the group, they get the course, they get it outlined, and I would suggest you just plow through the whole thing and get kind of an, okay, here's the broad understanding. And this is the way I do things, so this works for me. It may not work for everyone. So I'm just going to say how I tend to learn is I kind of listen. I'll be honest, I have a hard time focusing, so I like to do things while I listen, but then I get that broad end-to-end understanding, and then I'm like, okay, now it's time to sit down and take notes while I listen, and then I go piece by piece by piece, and I relearn it the second time and go, oh, that's what she meant, because there'll be things that I'm like, what? I don't know. Just keep going, But then the second time, when I'm focused, I go, oh, now I understand. Um, and then also there are 4 sessions with like 4 of these Q&A sessions included in the course, and you can use them at any time. So if you buy the course in April, knowing that you're going to launch in June, maybe you want to hold off on the Q&A sessions until June, and then you can add more too as well. And I'm pretty lenient, and so I'm like, yes, you need more help. I know I can tell you need more help. Keep coming, or you got this. I believe in you. You're dialed.
You're not pushing every bird off the ledge, is what
I'm
you're
not,
saying.
I'm not, but
Fly, fly.
I'm not trying to hold, I'm not one of those people that thinks that there is a certain amount of time. Like, this is not a 3-month program or a 1-year program, because some people move really, really quickly and they plow through it, and then they execute, and other people are like, I'm scared. And I'm like, I got you. We could take a little longer, go a little slower, or they're building their house and it just takes a little longer to design from finishes, like from the countertops and all of that, and picking the hardware to the actual install. So some of those people are just naturally going to hang out a little.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I think it's really interesting because a lot of people, have these programs, and whether or not they're thinking of how long a person stays. Because I've gone through a program. It was the first ever mastermind I joined, and it was kind of like they wanted it to be like a college course in the way that you stick around for 3 or 4 years, and then after that you're just an alum, and it's a great spot to be, but you don't really need to be in the class anymore. You don't need to be in classes anymore, but you maybe still want your friends. So I like that. That's kind of a version that you're doing. Okay, Kim, I got a new question for you. Where is somewhere you've met a friend or an advisor, like randomly, like, and what's the story around it? Like, did you meet somebody that now works with you in line at a bank, like those kinds of things, like somebody that's really impacted your business journey that feels like a really random chance way of meeting someone?
Hmm, that's a good question. I will say can I say who our mutual friend is
Yeah,
that we
yeah, of
met?
course.
So Paige Hayes was introduced to me by another friend that says, you need to know Paige Hayes. She is amazing. And she is really a catalyst that helped me structure my business when I was like, I want to work with you. How do we do this? You're really structured. I really like how thorough your designs are. Help me make this go off really, really well. And so she says, I do it like this, I do it like this. And when I was young and new at all of this, I was like, my contract is a little sketch. Can you help me? And she was just an advisor, because she is a designer, but somebody introduced me before Launch Host was what it is today. And so that was a chance, meeting with her that has honestly changed my entire life.
I love that so much. I got to meet Paige in a bathroom
Met a
at
lot of
Short
great
Tour.
people in a bathroom.
I know. Honestly, anytime I go to these conferences, like the kinds of people that I meet up in bathrooms, like it's crazy. And yeah, I wouldn't trade that business connection for anything. Like I love Paige too. So that's really awesome. Like it just I like to ask that question because I want to show people like you just never know where that thing is going to hit because you could be 20 people in a bathroom but only one person is going to help you with your contract, is going to advise you in ways that you never expected. But if you don't have the conversations, you'll never get it. You'll literally never get it if you don't at least make the connection, even if you're uncomfortable to make the connection.
Okay,
You're
I
not.
have a good story that's like it's not a business story, but it's my favorite random chance meeting of anyone ever. So
Tell me.
I have never paid for first class, and I just kind of I don't know why I like that, but I get upgraded to first class a lot on airplanes because I travel so much. And I was finished with an install, totally exhausted, like wiped out, and I just wanted to sit in my upgraded first class seat, put my earbuds in, watch trash TV, and maybe fall asleep. Like that's all I wanted in the whole wide world. And the guy next to me was like, "Hi." And I was like, "Hi."
Damn
and and he would right, you know this feeling of just I'm just so tired, and I would have my earbuds in and he would start talking to me and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, what was that? And then he kept talking and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pause my movie. And then he got his phone out and started showing me pictures on his phone, and I was kind of half paying attention because I hate to say it, I was just like, I just am too tired, I don't. And then the
it.
pictures on his phone were a bunch of sports teams. And I am a former two-sport college athlete. I coached high school sports. Like this is my jam. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, what sports teams are you hosting at your house? And he was like, this team and this team and this team. And they were all wearing red and white. And I was like, wait, so college or high school? Like, I better start paying attention to you. Earbuds are now officially off. Phone is down. And he says I heard him say athletic director, but because I'm in college or high school, I assumed high school. No, he was the athletic director of Alabama, like University of
Whoa.
Alabama, Roll Tide. I'm sitting next to him trying so badly to ignore him. And we ended up talking and oh,
Yeah, okay, I think you're good. I heard the roll tide
okay.
and you're like Alabama, now go.
And I'm trying so desperately to ignore this guy. And all of a sudden, I am like, oh, no, you have my attention. And so we just talked, and he was asking me questions. What do I do? And I would talk about my children. And we talked for 3.5 hours on this flight. And at the end of the flight, he said, you know what I would like to do? I would like to give you tickets to an Alabama game. And I am like,
How fun!
I'm from Oregon. My kids are going to school like high school in Oregon at this time. And I said, just give me tickets to a game that won't sell out. This is me not knowing that I think every Alabama game sells out all of the time. I was just like, give me some like cast off tickets that you won't be able to like get people in the stands. He did not do that. He gave me seventh row tickets to the Iron Bowl against Auburn on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And I gave my
That's so
kids
cool.
the most epic Thanksgiving trip of their entire lives because I talked to a guy on the plane.
That is so fantastic because it sounds like, first, I am the same as you. When I'm on an airplane, I'm not talking to anybody. This is the one time where I can watch whatever I want and not have to worry about anything. But then, second, like, oh my God, the conversation you got to have was so awesome. That's so cool.
We talked about amazing things about how he tried. I mean, it's Alabama. There's a lot. He's an older white gentleman, and there's a lot of race issues. And he was talking about how he was trying to manage the race issues and bring people up, and how he started this whole thing for black athletes at his school. And it was like, oh my gosh, you're a really interesting, fun, exciting, cool person. Like you really care about your job. And I was just elated by the whole conversation. I'm so glad I finally resisted watching trash TV or some dumb movie on my phone. I'm so glad. But man, he was gently like coaxing me into conversation, and I'm thankful he was persistent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and chance things just, I don't know, opportunity doesn't knock when you want it to. It doesn't like, it's never going to. So have the conversation, it might only be a minute, 2 minutes. Like it's okay to just have that, here and there. I think that's awesome. I love that. Okay. I do have a question. If I were to ask you for 3 tips, like I do short term rental stuff too, and a lot of people that listen are short term rental people because I love me some real estate and short term rentals. What are 3 tips within install that people should care about? Like I wrote down tightening furniture, like what's your hack, and like hanging things level, like that kind of stuff. But in general, like what's 3 like quick tips that you're like, these are the things you need to like kind of watch out for or that are really awesome when you're doing an install?
My favorite tip to tell people if they are starting with like an empty room like I am is to put the carpet down first. Lay the rug first. Because when you build a king bed and then you put the mattress on and sometimes box springs,
Awful.
it takes 3 people a half an hour to lift it up, shove the rug under, get it all level and like square to the room. And if you would have just opened it up and kicked it out, it would have been one person under 5 minutes to lay the rug out first. So you have to work bottom to top. You want to set your rugs out, then put your couches on top of them. And that way you're not trying to pick up furniture and make it look square, because like this is a wood floor. Those wood panels will show you when your rug is a little bit wonky, and it will
Yeah.
stand out like a sore thumb. So lay it down first, then set the heavy stuff on top, and then work biggest to smallest. So like there are some real keys that will save you so many hours and so many pounds lifted by the end. Um, so that's one. The rugs is one. And then my favorite is a thing that a friend of mine told me about, and he was like, you got to start using Loctite. And this product, Loctite Blue 242, I put on everything that people are sitting on. So like I'm sitting on a stool right now, and this stool, I'm twisting my body weight, I'm shifting, and what that does to the screws is they start to wiggle loose on their own. And I can tell you, most housekeepers, if they see a screw sitting on the ground, they don't look at the furniture
Throw it
directly
away.
above it to try to find out where that screw goes. They will just toss it in an owner's closet or sweep it into the garbage, and then your furniture will degrade very quickly over time. So if you put Loctite Blue 242, it holds those screws in place, and they only unscrew when you want to unscrew them. So
Awesome.
yeah, save your furniture, save your maintenance, make your house feel like it is brand new for a lot longer by using Loctite. I am not paid to promote their product, but I should be.
You need to. You actually really should. You're just like Blue 4242,
I know.
Loctite. Yeah, you need to write. You probably should write to them and be like, hey, you wouldn't understand how much I use you. You need to sponsor me.
Yeah, yeah. And then what would be my third tip? Okay, so my third tip would be on again like saving your back, saving your energy. if you are running the show, you have to preserve your energy. And when you're physically exhausted, your mental decision making goes down just like right along with it. So I will pay people to do to lift the heavy boxes. Like when I need help and I need to find someone, and everyone should find someone. You should not be doing this alone. Even if it's a smaller house or it's your first time, you should be enlisting people. I pay people to lift the boxes. So I'll mark what room they go on. I'll mark the rooms around the house, what room it is, so they can see like, oh, this is room 1, it's going to room 1. And then I let other people carry the heavy stuff. So it preserves my back, it preserves my energy so I can survive to live another day. And then I also hire, if you're new to hiring help, hire for easy jobs that you don't have to explain everything to. So setting up a kitchen, washing linens. If you hire for the easy job, you don't have to learn how to hire. And you don't have to explain to somebody who's never done a task before. Everyone's washed dishes. Everyone can put silverware in a drawer, in a kitchen, in a place that makes sense. So hire out those simple tasks so that you can manage maybe assembling a piece of furniture that's a little bit more complex, and you can put your thoughts there. So those are some hiring tips.
That's a great tip actually, of like just the things that don't matter as much. Like they still need to get done though. Like I will always remember the video of you saying, these are the things that this is how we come up with the price and the hours that we're going to be in a house. Because every time, even the silverware, when you buy silverware, most of them come individually wrapped. And yes, I know it's really silly to think, but you actually will spend 15 minutes taking all, like, I mean, if it's a 10 or 15, if it's a 20-person house, you actually need a ton of silverware. And you will spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes just unboxing silverware. And I love that about you.
Can I bring a visual
Yes.
aid? Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so right before this podcast, I've been working on the kitchen. This is 1 pack of silverware, and this house has 3 of these packs. So I started opening it up. So these are all the knives. So they have a rubber band. We're gonna walk people through the intensity of what this is. And now I've got all the knives loose, and I'm sure the plastic is annoying in the microphone. But each knife, and then you put it in the garbage, and these little plastic things float all over, and you have to catch them, and they're really annoying. And the knives come out pretty easily, like you could do a couple at a time. But
forks don't.
and the spoons are not that simple. They like to, like, the fork tines get stuck on the plastic, and then you got a little piece. So you have to be kind of quick, but also careful. And yeah, it's a giant pain. And then not all of this fits in the dishwasher at one time. So I have to run several loads of dishes to get all the silverware through. And we pre-wash every dish, everything, because you need to. A lot of the glasses come in cardboard boxes, and there's so much like papery film on there, and it's yucky.
Yeah, well, the service that you provide is literally a guest can stay here tomorrow. Like that's the whole entire point, is like you're ready to go for a guest if you need. I mean, you need a clean, but other than that, like the rest of it is.
Yeah.
I like them. Just your cleaner should go through once before it opens, regardless. But I love that, and I think that is like, to me, I have a couple of versions of you. Right, I have the version of you in my head of like the few things, and thorough is one of them. Is like you are very intentional with what you say and do because of the experience that you have gained, and then you utilize it to tell people like, hey, you can totally set up your own short-term rental. It's fine. Honestly, everybody does it at least once. It's very rare that people wouldn't the first time. But know that I'm looking at this 1,500 like point list of what happens, and you're looking at it as a 100-point list, because you're like, cool, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna set up the dresser. You're not looking at all of the other things, like to make sure that the dresser is actually mounted to the wall for safety, and you're not looking at the fact that all of the tables also need lamps, and the lamps come wrapped up in all kinds of plastic, and you still have to put in the bulb. And did you remember to get the bulbs? Did you remember to get the right bulbs? Because some fixtures come with bulbs and some of them don't, and like there's just these things. And that's the reason that a person would come to a person like you, is because you're hacking the system. You're like, by coming to someone like you or by joining a mastermind, by doing any of this stuff. The whole point is to shorten the curve. You already know you're going to do this thing, or that you want to do this thing. You want to start a short-term rental business. So why wouldn't you go to the people that are already doing it so you can go farther, faster, like right away because
Exactly.
of advice?
Exactly. I know Tony Robbins says he turns decades into days, and I don't think that we do that. But I definitely had a client that said it would have taken me 3 years to install this property, and it was the Mount Everest of installs that we did. And I'm like, yes, it would. Yes, it would have taken you 3 years. I promise you, because you would have been so frustrated and so burned out that you wouldn't be coming every day and doing it day after day. You'd have to get back to your regular life. You wouldn't look forward to it because it was so difficult. The
Oh yeah.
last time you were there, that you would just sort of put it off, and it would have, I believe him when he said it would have taken him 3 years, and we did it in 3 weeks.
Well,
So.
and who wants to take 2 weeks off of your job? Okay, like the average human being that is still a short-term rental owner gets like 4 weeks a year, and that's probably generous. It's actually probably 2 weeks a year, but I know when I left, I was probably at 6 or 8. So an average person gets 4 weeks off a year. Do you want to take 2 of your weeks off to go work somewhere else? Like, I know that, and you have to pay to get there sometimes. Like, you have to do all of these things. It's like you don't have any downtime because you don't have time to have downtime during it because you need to get it done. And I know that it's an expense, and I understand why people are like, well, I'm not going to pay for it. You're paying for it. You're just deciding that it's not actually like, you're not putting a dollar amount on the fact that you're taking 2 weeks off of your own job to go to this place and not get a vacation. So now you're going to be busy because you don't have those 2 weeks anymore for this whole year to take off. And you had to work the whole entire time, and it probably still wasn't done in the 2 weeks because it's never done in 2 weeks if you do it
Right.
yourself.
You probably still had to pay someone to finish what you didn't finish in that time. And that we do actually have a calculator that I don't promote very much, but it breaks down like, what is your time worth? What is your vacation time? Like, what is your travel costs? And then let's look at this. And then, like you said, we do know that for Launch Host, who we do this all the time, every time, it takes 250 hours of work to complete a 4-bedroom home, which is our average size home that we install. We know it's 250 hours. So if it's 250 hours for us, it's probably 315 for somebody that's never done it before. Could potentially be a lot more. I don't know what skills they're bringing to the table and
Yeah.
what resources they have. And we also spread that load between a large team. Whereas if it's 2 people, your work output is going to shrink after hour 12 on day 3 when you've done 12 hours a day every single day. Like, your work
Yeah.
output just shrinks. So yeah, there's a lot of math that I do a surprising amount of math for somebody who doesn't really like math, but the numbers are there. That, do you really, how are you going to go back to work when your 2-week vacation was working harder than you've ever worked in your entire life?
Oh yeah, yeah, your office job. Because honestly, the people that get short-term rentals, they're office workers. We're corporate people that have got some money, or like a teacher that like has been saving for a while. Awesome, they bought their short-term rental. It's gonna make some really good cash flow. This is so exciting. And then they're like, oh yeah, I don't work physical. Like, I don't do this physicality at work ever.
Somebody was bragging to me that he helped a friend set up a property, and his help was to help her break down a garage full of boxes. And I'm like, uh-huh. And he was like, yeah, it was so hard. And I'm like, actually, that's what I do when I'm avoiding hard work.
When I'm on a break from the work that I have to do.
Yes, the breaking down the boxes is the break. That's not what I would, and everybody is going to be different. And nobody usually breaks down an entire garage, a 2-car garage of boxes up to the ceiling, but I do. And that is
Well, big
absolutely
time.
that's my recess from the real world.
That's my break time.
Yeah, like
It is really interesting because I've had somebody help me with some stuff before, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is such hard work." They were like vacuuming the outside, and we were near water enough that it was like there was a lot more spider webs than normal. Oh my God, I'm like huffing and puffing. I'm like, what? What? So not, different strokes for different folks, Kim.
yeah, well, it's like
Everybody's
when you
different.
have a dog and you take it because you've got to run it. And so I used to have a black lab until she passed away, and I loved her so much. But we would throw the ball for her, and she would run and run and run and catch it and bring it back, catch it and bring it back, and it wouldn't wear her out. It wouldn't. And so then I started going to the river and throwing the ball in the river so she would swim and swim up the current and bring it back to wear her out. And then that didn't wear her out because she would build up this stamina. And I think that's what we do here at Launch Toast is we start to develop a stamina for this type of activity where we can just handle it. But many people, they don't have the kind of stamina that we do because, like you said, they sit in an office or they are doctors or something. They might be on their feet all day, but they're not carrying boxes upstairs all day. It's different.
Kim, this has been so awesome, packed with so much useful. Oh my God. Like I love everything about this. I knew you were going to be a wealth of amazingness. But can you tell people if they wanted to hire you to, set up a short-term rental, if they wanted to join, Launch Toast, like what does it look like? What should they do?
Great question. I don't have a formal process. We're still working on that part, but I would love for them to reach out to me in my DMs, wherever you find me. I'm fastest to respond on Facebook. And then the second thing I would say is on Instagram and my website. I'm very, very bad at responding on my website. I hate to say. So if you can find me on Facebook or Instagram, I will respond to you, and I will probably pass you off to Sarah, who trains everybody and tells them everything they need and what to expect if they were to join Launch Toast as a part of our team. And then like any potential clients that want our service, then I will take them. So DM me and I'll send you a calendar link, and you can book a call. You can also book a call with me on our website, and I'm really great at showing up to my meetings.
Okay, and on Instagram, you're Launch Toast,
Yep.
launched host, not Lunch Toast. And then on Facebook, you're Kim Fitzpatrick. I will link both of those in the show notes. Is there anything else you want people to know about?
I would say I would want people to show up in person to events near and far from where they live so that they get to meet awesome and great people. Because if I had never showed up to that conference where you were, we would have never met and we wouldn't have this great friendship that we have now. So that's what I want people to do, more than anything is show up and just put yourself out there.
Yes, I love that, and I agree. That is so much truth that it's like I wouldn't have come up to you if you wouldn't have even been there. And these little relationships in short-term rental industry, like whatever in the world of short-term rentals, they wouldn't be without somebody showing up. So it's
And
awesome.
I will say, I understand how hard it is for people to show up to new places. And so if you see me, come up and talk to me and I will help you find friends. Like I hate that feeling of feeling awkward and like I don't know anybody. So if you know me in the whole crowd, please feel warm enough to come up and say hi. And then I will try to be like, oh, hey, here's this person and this person and this person. And I'll try to introduce you to people so that you can have lots of friends.
Yes, this is awesome. This is the reason me and you are friends is because we're both like, oh my God, I'd love to help you find a friend or two.
Yes, exactly.
It's so great. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for listening. This was awesome. Thanks, Kim, for coming to hang out with me for an hour. You're so awesome. You're full of knowledge. You're really good at what you do. So if anybody really does not want to do what she just talked about for all that time, you should look into hiring her because she's great and you're going to be able to make all that money back anyways. So, awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye.